Thank you very much, dear MEP Stefanec, dear members. I want to thank the EIF for organizing this interesting and timely breakfast debate. And I couldn't agree more with everything that has been said so far. I think it's been a lot of striking numbers and an impressive presentation by Mastercard. I think there's one number that we haven't heard, and I've actually read that in the press yesterday. 16 billion is the added value to Europe's GDP if we manage to close the digital gender gap. And not only the digital gender gap, but I'd say the gender gap in entrepreneurship and our SMEs at large is even larger than that. So I'd like to spontaneously offer, rather than hearing from 5 men this morning, if there's anyone in the audience, I think the audience is very diverse, if there's anyone in the audience who wants to offer a perspective which is more diverse, then I'd be very happy to give up my speaking time for exactly that. I've seen Michaela Palladino from the EU Developers Alliance.
Thanks, Lenard, for the great idea of improving the gender representation in this event. Well, we don't lack very smart women around this table, so I'm sure that maybe after this the discussion will incorporate more of the other 50% of the population. I'm going to try and think fast on my feet and try to add some interesting points to this already very interesting conversation. I think I was taking notes, and I think that there's been 3 very important points that have been made, but I will go back to them in a minute. I will first introduce myself. My name is Michaela Palladino, and I am the Director for EU Policy and Government Affairs for the Developers Alliance. The Developers Alliance is the global trade association representing software developers. We have worldwide a network of over 70,000 developers. It's a niche of the SMEs world. It's an already digitized niche of the SMEs world. So what I like to think is that developers bring digitization to fellow SMEs, and they play a very important role for this. They are supported in these digitization efforts by online platforms, big and small, that have an essential role in supporting SMEs. We've heard from Mastercard. There was mentioning a few other big companies that help developers and SMEs in their efforts. And I think that needs to be mentioned, that needs to be remembered. So to go back to the 3 points that I took note of from the other speakers, I think are interesting for the conversation that we're going to have. I think the 3 main focuses that we should have in supporting SMEs are guaranteeing a smooth access to a market that is non-fragmented. So regulators and governments really need to put all their attention in the realization of the European digital single market. And second, in the access to market, the importance of, again, online platforms. So an attention needs to be made to supporting online platform in supporting SMEs. Second, skills. There's been mentions of supporting education, etc. We've done a few researches in the past, and what we found is that developers in their small niche are having big trouble finding the right talents, people with the right digital skills. So I can only imagine how difficult it is for SMEs that are not already digitized to find people with the right talent. So this is something that needs to be addressed. It's the member states' competence. So, but an attention in bringing the education systems to prepare students for the future and for the present actually is essential. And finally, it's been mentioned, access to capital. So it's important to make sure that SMEs are properly funded in all stages of their growth, and that can also be made through a regulation that supports, through legislation that supports and ensures access to a more open venture capitalist market and generally more funding for SMEs. So I think those are the 3 points that I wanted to raise, and I think that they can all be achieved through smart regulation. So I would really like to encourage the policymakers in the rooms and everyone that contributes to policymakers in Brussels and elsewhere to focus on thinking small before coming with legislation, thinking if legislation is truly necessary, is truly responding to the actual needs of the SMEs, and if it's proportionate and fit for purpose. So, thank you.